Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to this season of Grief Online Talk on living with grief and comforting the grieving. Kumusta po kayo? I hope everyone is well and safe. Ako po si Ina Reyes. I am the Publishing and Communications Director of OMF Literature, and I will be your host this afternoon. Last October 1, we launched a series of online talks based on our newest book, This Season of Grief: Stories, Poetry, Prayers, and Practical Help. Our first offering was on the topic Coping with the Loss of a Loved One. Today, we are delighted to bring you the second online talk of the series. We will talk about how to live with grief and how to comfort those who are grieving. This time for a change, our program will be in Q&A format. So we will be asking questions to our guests, and our guests are three of the 29 contributors of the book, This Season of Grief. So as they respond to our questions, they will also share their experiences of grief and loss and how God has comforted them in their grief. So we'll be listening to Maria Teresa Banzagales Abiva, Feliz Lucas, and Pastor Rico Villanueva. This online talk is a free event, so we encourage you to share it with your friends by tagging them in the comments section. Before we proceed, here are a few announcements. This Season of Grief is available at 275 pesos, but now we have it on special sale. You can buy the book at 20% discount, so that will now be just 2020. I'm sorry, 220. This offer is available at OMF Lit bookshops, also at shop.omflit.com and the OMF Lit flagship stores in Shopee and Lazada from October 27 until November 3. If you're looking for a book to give to your family and friends who have experienced any kind of loss and are grieving, This Season of Grief is the book to give. This Season of Grief is also available in ebook format, so you can download it from Amazon and Google Play. All right, so having said all of that, let me welcome you again to our This Season of Grief online talk. So thank you for joining us. Make sure to stay tuned until the end of the program, as we will be giving away complimentary copies of This Season of Grief. All right? Okay, so before we dive into our conversation with our three guests, let me introduce each one of them briefly. Teresa Banzagales Abiva, or Tess, is a loving wife to Jake and a caring mom to Sean, who is on full scholarship at the Philippine Science High School in Baguio City. She's a simple stay-at-home mom. She loves to cook for her family. Teresa has served as her family's personal nurse after graduating from the University of Santo Tomas in Legazpi City with a Bachelor of Science degree in nursing. She took care of a nephew with special needs and elderly relatives with various illnesses up until she married and then became a mom. So welcome, Tess.
Welcome po.
Our second guest is Feliz Lucas. In her deep pain of losing her 3-year-old daughter, Katie, to cancer in 2016, Feliz suffered the physical manifestations of grief. She struggled with various illnesses, but now she is grateful for receiving excellent medical markers at her last checkup. To help others who are also struggling, Feliz organized a workshop called Courage and Grief. She and her husband JJ have been leading retreats and online fellowships to support the bereaved. Together, they wrote the book More Than Most: The Story of Courageous Katie, published by OMF Literature. Feliz acknowledges that the darkness that grief brings may not go away, but when grief visits, it reminds us to look at the light that surrounds us. Welcome, Felice, and advance happy birthday.
Thank you. Thank you for having me here. Hope to hear more questions from those online.
Yeah. And Pastor Rico Villanueva serves as the regional commissioning editor for Langham Publishing and scholar care coordinator for Langham Scholars in Asia. He teaches at the Loyola School of Theology and at the Asia Graduate School of Theology. He has written several books, including It's Okay to Be Not Okay and Lord, I'm Depressed, both published by OMF Literature. He also wrote Bible commentaries on the Psalms and Lamentations, published by Langham Publishing. Let's all welcome our guests, Tess, Felice, and Pastor Rico. Handa na po ba kayo sa mga tanong na inihanda namin sa inyo ngayong hapon?
Handa na.
Handa na
Salamat.
po.
Yeah. Our first question is actually on video. So let's watch this.
Will grief ever go away?
That is a very short but hard question. Si ano po yan? Si Alex Perez. So her question is, will grief ever go away? So anyone answer? Si ano siguro? Si Felice. Ang unahin natin.
Ayan. Nakamute pala ako. For me, before kasi, people told me, when nung bago pa lang yung grief ko, and I was trying to look for answers, at that time, I wanted grief to go away. I wanted maging back to normal yung feelings ko. I wanted na mawala. I feel kasi na I was really drowning. And then, when people were telling me na, grief will never go away eh. So, I got affected. Sobra akong nagalit. I got really angry na what? So, I feel na I will have no hope, na I will always feel like this forever, na parati na lang akong in pain, di siya mawawala. Parang hindi ko siya ma-accept when some people will tell me that grief will always be there. And then as I journeyed on with purging my grief, I was really crying my heart out. And I was really asking questions. I realized na um, parang grief has a different meaning for me now. Siguro grief kasi for other people is like, maybe for them, grief is the pain or the memory of the loss. But for me kasi was the current climactic feeling na sobrang intense feeling. So for me, I believe na as I continue with my day-to-day, grief became an integrated part of rediscovering who I was. So grief, the pain is there, but it did not have a hold in me anymore. So to answer the question, if will grief ever go away? For me, grief may be there, but it will not have the same intense, it will not have a hold on us. And we'll be able to, parang I think that's one of the gifts of grief. It allows us to rediscover ourselves in the Lord. Um, so yun, parang grief will eventually become a friend. So right now, minsan, like on my way here, as Ina mentioned that it's my birthday, I really cried on my way here with my children because syempre my daughter's not around. Like ngayon, naiyak na naman ako. And then after the pain, I get to be grateful na, but I look forward that there is joy around me. That when I look at my children now, I can give joy again. That the pain, the love that I wanted to give to my daughter who's no longer here, I can give to those around me. So yeah. I hope that answers your question.
Yeah, it does actually. Ang ganda yung sinabi mo, no, yung grief becomes our friend, no? So, learning to befriend our grief. Pastor Rico, meron po ba kayong idadagdag? Ano po bang sinasabi ng bilang isang scholar, biblical
Ah,
scholar? Ano po bang sinasabi ng Bible tungkol dyan?
Actually, napakaganda nung sagot ni Feliz kanina, no? Kasi yun yung ah, personal experience niya, no? Maganda kasi yun yung galing sa karanasan mo and then saka ka nagti-theologize, no? Kaysa yung nagti-theologize ka na kagad na
Mm-mm.
wala ka namang hindi naman related sa life, no? At mas lumalim yung pangunawa ko sa grief nung na-realize ko yung depression ko din because I've had depression since I
Mm-mm.
was uh, in my early 20s or even before that eh. Kasi related din naman yun eh. Ang grief naman,
Mm-mm.
di ba, yung meron kang matinding loss, no? O kaya merong nangyari sa buhay mo na grabe, hindi ko matanggap or na-shock ka, traumatized, no? Or namatay ang bigla. Tapos, kaya malungkot ka eh, no? Yung lumbay sa Tagalog, no? Ang lalim no, no? So maraming pagkakataon din sa life ko na hindi ba 'to mawawala? O
Mm-mm.
may time nga na kahit saan ako magpunta, kahit anong gawin mo, nandodo'n pa rin siya, 'no? So, tinanong ko din 'yon and the more na tinatakasan ko siya, the more na parang na lumalakas, 'no? So,
Mm-mm.
talagang kailangan mo siyang harapin and I like yung question kanina na ano ulit pangalan niya na nagtanong? Si Alex Perez, 'no?
Alex.
Kasi yung Will Grief Ever Go Away? Ang sagot diyan din yung title ng, talk natin ngayon, yung theme ng ating webinar, Living with Grief. 'Di
Mm-hmm.
ba 'pag sinabi mong living with grief parang kasama mo na siya, eh, 'no? Which
Mm-hmm.
implies na nandodo'n na siya, bahagi na ng buhay natin. At siguro yung ibang mga grief sa langit mo na mawawala, 'no? Kasi sabi sa Bible, pagdating daw ni Lord papahiran niya raw yung mga luha natin, no? He will wipe away the tears from our eyes. Kung wala namang tears sa eyes natin, ano yung kanyang papahirin, no? Ako gusto ko, pagdating ni Lord, siya mismo yung kamay niya. Ewan ko kung may hawak siyang panyo, no? Pero parang, sige na anak, tama na, halika na, gano'n, no?
Mm-hmm.
Kaya, kaya harapin yung grief na yon, katulad ng sinabi rin ni Feliz kanina, nandoon siya pero yung view mo sa kanya later on, nababago. So sa akin, on my part, naging instrumento yung grief para maramdaman ko yung nararamdaman ng iba, no? Kasi
Mm-hmm.
kung minsan 'pag lagi kang masaya, hindi ka maka-identify, eh, 'no, sa iba and we have to understand that a lot of people right now, no, are grieving uh,
Mm-hmm.
and the ability to enter into their experience. May nagsabi rin nga na isang biblical scholar na maiintindihan mo lang daw yung lament psalms when you are in tears, no? Para yung nararamdaman mo yung nararamdaman. May mga hindi ka makakapasok eh.
Mm-hmm.
So ano rin yon sa akin, mahirap yung grief pero kaya sabi ni Lord, di ba, through Apostle Paul, in our weakness, no? Yung mga yun eh. The grace of God is made more manifest. Salamat, no?
Yeah. Thank you, Pastor Rico. Sige. Tuloy po tayo dun sa second question natin, no? Medyo na-mention to kanina ni Feliz, baka, so tatanungin ko muna si Tess and then si Feliz after, kasi na-mention niya rin kanina to eh. Sabi niya, I'm grieving, but I'm also angry. How do I handle this?
Mhm.
Yeah. Tess, nakamute ka?
Yeah. Okay. Hello? Okay na pa.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sa part ko po, yung galit, pansamantalang naramdaman ko nung nagagalit ako dahil hindi ako makauwi. Yun yung feeling ko na, ano, oh Lord, kinuha mo na si Manoy, and yet, pati ko makauwi. Yun po yung yung una ko naramdaman, nagagalit ako. But then, nung naiiyak ko na-realize ko na God is good pa rin kahit nawala yung kuya ko. Kasi iniisip ko yung suffering niya, yun yung na parang na-relieve ako na for at least hindi na siya in pain. Yung yung I still grieve dahil before pa namatay yung kuya ko this February, hindi pa kami nakakapag gunita nung death nung kuya ko noong 2020, February din yon. Ito namatay naman yung paborito kong kuya. So yun po yung yung galit pansamantalang naramdaman ko. I guess it's a normal reaction. Tao lang po tayo. But then yung pag-hug sa akin ni Lord, talagang yun po ang talagang talagang naramdaman ko na yung akap niya, comfort niya, yun po ang nagpakalma sa akin na talagang naramdaman ko na the Lord is with me in spite of this grieving. Kaya yun normal lang sa atin na may magagalit tayo. But by the grace of God, at saka yung promise niya na sa mga nagdadalamhati malapit ang Panginoon. Yun po yung talagang pinanghawakan ko. Even now na everyday I'm still nag-grieve ako sa pagkawala ng kuya ko, but I just claim the promise ni Lord na he will never leave me, at andyan siya sa akin.
Yeah.
Anytime, every day.
Yeah. Thank you, Tess.
Apa.
Ang ganda ng salitang dalamhati. Ang ganda, dalamhati. Ang ganda-ganda. Ang ganda mag-word study doon, Pastor Rico, dalamhati.
Oo.
Elise, kanina na-mention mo, di ba? Parang nagalit ka rin. So, do you want to add something, add some more dito sa tanong na to? How do you handle this? Na galit ka rin while grieving?
I think the way na this question is asked, yung how do I handle this, mayroon siyang pagsasamang shame. I think sometimes as a Christian, we feel ashamed that if we are grieving, dapat hindi tayo angry. We sometimes are, like for me, I feel there was a time na I felt ashamed na dapat pag Christian ka, dapat joyful ka in sorrow, na you are sorrowful, pero dapat panandalian lang hindi yan pwedeng magpo-prolong. Pag nag-prolong siya, nakakahiya naman kasi baka wala talaga si Christ sa heart ko kapag nag-grieve ako ng matagal. But later on, I realized na the word grief is so broad. Ang lawak ng word na grief. It's like depression. Ang lawak din niya, para siyang umbrella. It's an umbrella of a multiple number of different words. So, like grief, parang I think you have to identify what is your grief like. Like, you're angry with what? You are ashamed, you are guilty, you are blaming yourself, blaming another person. And then, pag na-identify, like ako, I was angry na I felt that I was angry with the doctors, I was angry that I should have, baka may ginawa akong mali, and I was angry for being angry. And at the moment, parang dapat hindi ako nagagalit, pero nagalit ako. So, sa Pilipino kasi, bawal tayong mag-grieve eh. Parang, pag someone's grieving, people are expected to solve our grief, na bawal tayong umiyak, bawal tayong magalit. But I realize it really, the more na sinusuppress ko yung grief and anger ko, lalo siyang tumatagal.
Mhm.
Eventually, kaya ako nagkaroon ng physical manifestations kasi
Mhm.
kinikimkim ko sa loob ko. So, I had, ano talaga, nagka-blurred vision ako to the point na nagka-Bell's palsy ako, as in half of my body, nag-numb. Tapos, naging pre-diabetic ako, nagka-kidney stones ako, and then, kinailangan ko pang i-operate for appendicitis, tapos may migraines pa ako. So, sobrang dami na naging manifestation because of suppressing my anger. And then
Mhm.
I learned the word purge, na with grief pala, you really have to purge it out. Para siyang pimple, 'di ba? Kapag may pimple ka or may pigsa, kailangan ng pigsa ilalabas. Kung hindi, it's going to be poisonous and actually
Mhm.
deadly. So, kailangan talaga siyang lumabas. So, nahihiyaman ako na ilabas siya, parang inalaw ko sarili kong, sige, I will be angry, I will scream, I will shout and cry my heart out. And to the point na the day na Katie died, um, the doctor was telling me, uy, tama na, ayaw yan ng daughter mo na makita kang umiiyak. Tapos sabi ko, no, I will cry. I know where my daughter is already. I just need to cry. Parang ganon. So, um, parang yon for me, I think it's very important na when you ask me how do I handle this, allow yourself to purge. Talagang ilabas mo siya. Kasi when you make yourself, pag nilabas mo and you are empty, I think that's when God allows Himself to fill you in. Kapag
Mhm.
ubos ka na, wala nang natitira sa'yo, that would be the best time for God to really fill you with His truth. So, while you purge it out, I think it's very important to make sure you are connected with the truth, like identify the truth. Like ako, I couldn't read the Bible noon, I couldn't pray, it was so
Mhm.
hard for me. That was how angry I was, and my source of comfort was songs. So I filled my
Mhm.
days with worship songs, and then
Mhm.
that was where I found my answers and filled my heart with His truth. So after I purge, talagang labas, talagang sumisigaw talaga ako, naririnig parang nakakahiya talaga sa mga kondo kami, 'di ba? Ang lakas ng mga sigaw ko. But I filled in with His truth, and then after that, parang I think I was able to rediscover myself after that. So yun. So allow yourself to purge it out, but make sure pag ubos ka na, fill it with His truth. Kasi God is not scared of our anger. And He knows it ahead of time. And He will be with us. When He was with us when our loved one died, He is also in the same room with us when we are angry. And He will be in the same room with us when we rediscover ourselves.
Mhm. Thank you, Felice. Gusto ko lang tanong si Pastor Rico kasi, ano, no, like, there are psalms that show that really express anger, di ba? Pastor Rico, can you tell us something about this, na in the psalms can help us handle our anger?
Mhm. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, oh. I like yung image na ginamit na yung ni Felice na purge, 'no, ilabas, 'no? Kasi nga tayo mga Pilipino, kinikimkim mo, 'no, bawal sa atin yung magalit. I remember nung nagpa-pastor pa ako sa isang church, 'no, nagsabi lang ako kasi medyo na-annoy nga ako, so nakakainis naman. Parang natisod na yung isang leader ko, eh. Para bang 'pag pastor ka dapat hindi ka marunong mainis? Yung so parang
Mhm.
nakakainis, 'di ba? Parang, wait a minute, 'no? Pero kung titignan mo yung Bible, halimbawa sa Lamentations, 'no, habang umiiyak sila, nagagalit din sila, ano. In fact, dun sa Lamentations chapter 2, and let me read, 'no, yung sabi ni Lady Zion dun. Sabi niya, "Oh Lord, look and see. Anong ginawa mo?" Sabi niya. "Should women eat the fruit of their womb?" the children of their tender care, should priest and prophet be killed in the sanctuary of the Lord? Kasi nga, sobrang hirap nila nagugutom yung mga bata, namamatay. Para sabi niya na, wait Lord, masama kami pero sobra naman. Ba't naman dinadami mo pa yung mga bata? So ano yan, habang puno-puno sila ng luha, no? Sa chapter 1, tears flowing sa kanyang cheeks, no? Yung image ng mga tao noon. Tapos galit din sila. But the fact is, inalaw ng Lord yun, no? Na express nila yung galit na yun. No? Kasi the more na kinikimkim mo yung galit na yun, the more na lumalabas sa iba-ibang mga sakit. Katulad na nabanggit kanina ni Phyllis, di ba? So inaalaw ni Lord yun. Kumisan, you're angry at God Himself. Bakit allowing this? You are angry with yourself. You're angry with the world. Ganon. Minsan, buong mundo na lahat, no? Galit na. So, ang maganda lang sa Bible na pwede nating express yung galit natin. Katulad sa Lamentations. Actually, yung anger, na negative emotion, merong good sign yan Kasi ganito yan What makes you angry tells you something about your values. Diba? Halimbawa, ninalakawan na yung bayan natin. No? Pinapatay na yung mga tao. Hindi ka pa rin galit? Bakit? Dito, yung question sa Lamentations, it's a question of justice di ba? Is it fair? Kaya, wag natin pipigilan yung galit because yung behind the galit, of course, may mga galit na violent, no? Na masama. Pero hindi po lahat ng galit. May righteous anger nga, di ba? Si Jesus sa temple, grabe yung nagalit siya kasi nakita niya may mga mali At yan ang problema sa ating mga Christians. Tinitrain lang tayo kung paano mag-isip. Pero hindi tayo tinitrain kung paano magdamdam, dumamdam, lahat ng negative. Wala ka dapat nararamdaman. Tayo dapat tahimik lang, humble, peaceful. Mga kapatid, kaya yan ang malaking problema natin If we do not know how to get angry with evil, no, halimbawa with injustice, malaki talaga problema natin, no? Yung mga ganun. So, ganyan Unfairness, at yung mga galit na yan, minsan, cause din yan ng tampo natin kay Lord, kasama na rin po yun. Alam mo, ang pagtatampo, lagi ko sinasabi yan, no? Pag hindi mo rin dinil yan, nagiging hinanakit. At pag hindi mo naging hilya sa sama ng loob, nagiging galit, nagiging puot, hanggang sa iba-block mo na si God. Kaya ang dami mga Christians tuluyan ng blinak si God di ba? Iyan-friend na nila Kasi hindi sila tinuturuan ng church kung paano i-deal yung mga gano'n. Negative emotions yan Yung angry at God Anger, tampo. Yun. Kaya kung nagtatampo ka kay God ngayon habang nakikinig ka sa akin, okay lang yun kasi di ba nagtatampo tayo sa mga ka-close natin. Hindi ka naman nagtatampo kay Mayor unless close kayo. Nagtatampo ka lang kay Mr., kay Mrs., di ba? Kasi close kayo. Baka kaya hindi ka pa nagtatampo kay God kasi hindi pa kayo close. Yan.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, ang ganda ng mga sagot, itong next question.
Salamat.
Salamat po, Pastor Rico. Yung next question niya, sabi niya, how do I explain death to children under 12 years old? Yan, siguro si Fizz, no? How did you explain?
Napakahirap niyan.
How did you explain to your children, no? Yung nangyari kay Katie, no? Yan.
Paano ba sagutin yan? Paano ko nga ba i-explain kids ko? So, when Katie kasi was passed away, she was 3 and 8 months. 3 years old and 8 months. My son was magto 2 years old pa lang siya. So, very young pa. So, during that time, alam ko pamahiin sa mga tao na wag mo papakita yung bata, ganyan, on the coffin, but I wanted to involve him. So for me, I allowed him to see me in pain. Ito yung time na when days after, talagang umiiyak talaga ako, and then, Mommy, why? So eventually tumatanda siya, Mommy, why? So, is it because of Ate Katie? Kasi ko, yes, I miss Ate Katie. And then, he went out of the room, tapos kumuha siya ng tissue sa toilet, tapos binigay niya sa akin to wipe my tears. And then she said, sabi niya, it's okay, Ate Katie with God, ganyan. So, we'll see Ate Katie. So, I think parang I realized when he answered that, I realized if you want to explain death to a child, we need to explain also the life that is after death. So parang it became parang the more that we talked about who Jesus was, the more that we just had our devotionals and our family time na we really talked about Jesus, it became it became easier for me to explain about death. So now na I have two girls, Kalea is 4 years old na, Ethan is already 7, and I have a younger na 2 years old, and they would see the More Than Most book. And they would see lang na parang, oh, Atsi Katie. So, Atsi Katie, well, I have a sister who's not with us anymore, but with heaven. So, death became a normal word in our house na minsan, ay nako, I want to go to heaven already. And then I would really say, I really like to go to heaven already, but I guess God still wants us to do something here. Sometimes kasi when we talk about death, people don't want to talk about death kasi parang ang morbid naman. Pero I think as you understand grief and you journey with grief, ako parang ang sarap na, Lord, I honestly want to go to heaven already. Parang there's so much joy. And I think the kids also see that na even sila, mommy, I want to go to heaven already. Na parang I want to go to be where Ate Katie is. Kasi they see na it is something beautiful. But I always tell them, I want to. But right now, God still wants us to be excellent here on earth. So let's just do our work here excellently, and when it's our time, we will get to go home. So right now, let's just focus on our work here. So parang ganon. I don't know if there is a sequence of how to explain it to a child, but ayun, I think involving for me what worked, I really allowed my kids to be involved with my pain and not get stuck in the pain, but to always, okay, after the pain, what now? Ito pala yun. There's joy pala to it. So,
Yeah. Yeah. Si Tess meron kang teenager na si Sean ngayon, no? Pero when he was younger, was there any instance na yon nagtanong siya about death? Kasi children ask these difficult questions, no? Naka-mute ka ulit, Tess.
Okay. Opo. Si Sean kasi very observant. And there was one time, nakita niya akong umiiyak. 3 years old lang yata siya. Nakita niya akong umiiyak dahil may namatay. Tapos, sabi niya, Mami, paano ako pag namatay ka? Yun ang tinanong niya sa akin. At hindi ko pa nga siya nasasagot. May sinabi siya sa akin na, Ma'am, if you leave me, you and Dad leave me, I want to be with this person. May plano na siya. Sabi ko, anak, may plano siyang person na mag-aalaga sa kanya pag wala na kami. Sabi ko, natulala ako. So sabi ko, masyado ka naman yatang advance. Masyado ko namang advance mag-isip. Sa isip ko lang yun. Actually, sa totoo to lang po, hindi ako nakasagot agad. Dahil parang na-focus ako doon sa, ang galing naman itong anak ko, nagpaplano na meron siya in person. Talagang sinabi niya sa akin. Honestly po, hindi ko siya sinagot agad. Parang mas natuwa pa ako sa plano niya kaysa isasagot ko sa kanya. Kasi, Ma'am, if you leave me, you and Dad leave me, I want to be this person to, make alaga sa akin. So sabi ko, masyado siyang advance. Wala pa, Pero kung ako po ang ano, kung ngayon po tatanungin, siguro i-explain lang sa bata yung sa word na maiintindihan nila, yung simple word na maiintindihan nila kung ano ang death. And to be honest sa mga bata na someday magkikita-kita rin tayo sa ano, just use the simple word na maiintindihan ng bata yung ano, yung ang kamatayan. Yun po, use simple word.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. Yeah. Yung last question natin is also on video. So let's watch this for our last question for this segment. For this segment, it's a question by JC Cortez. Let's watch it.
Hi po, may dalawa po ako questions. Yung una po is, paano po natin masushow yung care natin for the people who are grieving? Pangalawa po is, kailan po nagiging toxic yung grief po?
Okay. So what's the best way to show our care for those who are grieving? And then second, kailan nagiging toxic yung grief? So, sinong gustong unang sumagot?
Yung ano,
Yung
naalala
pastor
ko lang, naalala ko lang dyan yung friends ni Job, di ba? Nung si Job nagkaroon ng matinding problema, nawala yung property niya, tapos yung mga anak niya, and then siya rin nagkaroon lahat ng sakit, no? For 7 days, his friends went to see him, to comfort him. They didn't say anything, and they were such a blessing to him. It was when they started speaking that they became a burden. And even kahit si Job, nagalit na sa kanila kasi they're trying to blame him nga, di ba? Na, siguro may kasalanan ka kaya ka nagkaganyan. So, ang isa sa mga best way na makatulong tayo sa mga nag-grieve, yung just being with them, no, to comfort them. And yung mere presence, wala kang sasabihin eh. And that is very, very difficult for us, no? Lalo na kami mga pastor kasi may nakahanda kami kagad na 399 verses eh. Tsaka lessons 1 to 10, no? Kung paano ka makakatawid dyan. Kaya hindi pa nagsasalita, meron na kagad, no? Pero hindi naman kasi yun ang kailangan nila at that point. I-allow mo rin sila na yung mga nag-grieve na magsalita ng hindi biblical, minsan against, huwag mo i-rebuke. And then, pag na-sense mo na depende na sa tagal ng kanyang grief, no, pwede mo nang ipasok unti-unti, no, pero hindi yung kaagad. So, it takes a lot of sensitivity, pero yung early stages, wala ka talaga magagawa kundi just being there. Yun lang maano ko dun sa unang part ng question, no.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah.
Yeah, yung importance ng presence, ano, ng presence natin. Yeah, just being there. Yeah. Meron pang, yun munang first question ng anuhin natin. Meron pa kayong gustong idagdag si Felice and then si Tess? Siguro, when you were grieving, what was the best thing that was done for you, siguro, no? Oo,
Yeah.
Yeah. For me, what I really appreciated before, and because I experienced it before, and I do it to others, na I see is also helpful for others, is when we get to talk about the person. So, when they would ask me questions about her, parang, oh, what was she like? Or parang, what did she like to do? Parang yun, to relive na the person who died is hindi siya fake na nangyari. It was a really living person who had an impact in my life. So, sobra ko siyang na-appreciate. Yung little things like that na, oo nga no, mahilig talaga siya mag-cook noon, mahilig talaga siya mag-paint, ganyan. Ano favorite colors niya, ganyan. So, that was something that I really appreciated. And to go with me, kasi my sister, I had a lot of questions and I had a little group na I was comfortable with. So they would try to look for mga workshops or mga seminars regarding my questions. Kasi I had questions regarding medical related because of Katie who passed away kasi because of cancer, 'di ba? So
Mm-mm.
naghanap sila ng workshop or articles or ano about it or even contacted doctors. Kasi sabi ko, may regret ako na what if I just sent her to the US? Baka it would have saved her. So what my friends did was they contacted the hospital and then they inquired if possible and then they said no talaga. So parang I think nagkakaroon ng closure when they tried to help me find the answers to my questions and they didn't answer the questions to me directly or they let me attend mga depression workshops, what does the doctors have to say about it medically, ganyan. So I was learning and the more that I learned, the more na I think na-answer yung mga sagot at na-answer yung mga tanong. So that was very helpful for me.
Mm-mm. Yeah. Phyllis, siguro follow up ko na kasi ito related dun sa na-experience mo na nagkasakit ka talaga, di ba? So, kailan nagiging toxic yung grief, no? Kasi sa'yo talaga, ang dami mong naging sakit. Yeah.
Shucks, nako, toxic. I think toxic na siya if meron na siyang physical manifestations. I also witnessed this to friends and those who are going through deep, deep grief na nasusuppress and they continuously live not without purging kasi ayaw nga nila mag-purge. Gusto nila i-kim-kim lang. So, nagiging toxic siya kapag may physical manifestations na siya. Like, usually, napapansin mo, tumataas talaga yung sugar. Kasi nagiging inflammatory na yung body mo. So, that's one of the first signs or like migraine na hindi mo ma-explain or the doctors couldn't see anything wrong with you but your markers, your medical markers are not balanced. So yon. So I think it's good to already get in touch with a medical practitioner for that or a grief coach altogether sabay. So ang grief kasi I think it's a feeling na hindi mo dapat ginagawa alone. So I think like with this session, 'di ba, living with grief, living is not about being alone. Living is to be with others. So for me, as a follow up with the first two questions on how to care for the grieving, because I experienced it, nagkaroon ako ng overflowing knowledge of about it na I was wanted to also journey with another person who was bereaved. So even though I was grieving, I tried to reach out to also those who are also grieving. And during the journey, by God's grace, doon ako na-heal. Doon ko na-feel na slowly, parang, uy, nawawala na yung, nagiging clear na yung visions ko. Tapos, nagpapacheck up na ako, parang nagiging okay yung markers ko. And for the very first time, hindi na ako anemic. Balance na yung blood ko. So, I think one of the help with in terms of being toxic is to be able to live with others, to journey with another person or to serve. So for me, yun yung naging sobrang that was my turning point. Um People journeying with me, asking me questions about my daughter, helping me find answers to my questions, not directly answering them, and to help with my toxicity, being emotion, ano na, physical manifestations na siya, I tried to journey now with another. So, to really serve. When I started to serve, my grief also became, the world around me became bigger. And
Mhm.
my grief became the core or the foundation of who I was. But parang around me, parang, uy, um, para siyang seed, 'di ba? Ang seed kasi para tumubo ang bulaklak, kailangan munang mamatay. 'Pag namatay na yung seed, that's the time that a plant will grow. So for me, that's what life is. That's what my grief journey is. Na namatay talaga yung seed. And then, when I started to serve, nagkaroon na ng plant, nagkaroon na ng trees, nagkaroon na ng fruits,
Mhm.
and then the fruits was not for me. The fruits was for others to eat also and to also be nourished. So, yeah, sorry medyo mahaba, but yes, yun.
Mhm. Thank you, Felice. Pastor Rico, ano kayang role ng ng church or ng care group sa paano makakatulong ang church sa mga naggi-grieve? Kasi na-mention mo kanina parang mas hindi helpful no. So, paano kaya? Nakamute ka, Pastor Rico.
Malaki at sana ang role ng training, no, sa mga Bible study, teaching, preaching na katulad ng title ng libro ko, no, It's Okay to be Not Okay. Pag hindi niyo
Mm.
pa binibili yan, it's not okay, no? pero pero basically yun kasi message ng Lament Psalms na there is room for our not okay experiences. Even yung mga malalapit sa Diyos katulad nung nag-compose ng As the Deer, Psalm 42 yun As the deer panteth for the water, so my soul longeth after thee. I mean, sino ba ang mas malapit sa Diyos kaysa psalmist na yun? No? Yung
Mm.
ikinumpare niya yung longing niya sa longing ng isang deer. Sa Israel, halos walang tubig. Talagang uhaw na uhaw. Ganun ako kauhaw sa iyo, Lord. Pero pagdating sa verse 3, my tears have been my food day and night. Paano yun? No? Close na close siya kay God. Pero bakit masyado naman yung luha niya na raw yung kanyang pagkain? Ibig sabihin, sobrang grieving na siya. No?
Mm.
So, pwede rin pala yun na tapos sabi nga niya, nag-struggle pa siya. Why so downcast, oh my soul? Sabi niya. So, dapat hindi ka ganyan, no? Sabi niya. Praise the Lord. Pero pagdating sa verse 7, inamin niya din, no? My soul is downcast. And I think it takes a lot of courage to admit that. Parang sinasabi niya na, you know what? Worship leader, actually yung sons of Korah kasi they belong to this group no, ng worship leaders sa temple. No? I've tried to rejoice, no, to be joyful because I'm close. Pero I have to be honest na downcast ako. And the same word was used by Jesus himself when he told his disciples, my soul is very sorrowful to the point of death nung nasa Gethsemane siya. So, bakit natin ipinagbabawal yung pagiging malungkot samantalang maging ang ating Panginoon nakaranas nun, no? So, kailangan ituro yun sa church and then magkaroon ng community. Ang ganda nung sinare kanina na hindi, ang grief kasi is not meant to be experienced alone
Mhm.
but in community. Kaya nakakaya natin yan. Kaya may tinatawag ako, sana magkaroon tayo ng mga fellowship of lament or community of lament. Hindi lang community of praise, kundi yung a group na where you can be yourself, no? Na ang testimony hindi lang praises lahat. Tapos may mga sharing tayo ganito lagi. Alam niyo po, sobrang hirap ko, but lagi may ganun. But the Lord is in control. Pwede rin ba yung sharing na, you know, I'm really not okay. Tapos you end there, no? Tapos okay lang, no? And then people accept you. Hindi yung ginajudge ka. Mahina siguro faith mo, Brad, no? O
Mm.
sister. Yun. So yun, marami tayong dapat gawin sa church na ganyan na may mga churches nga bawal parawan depressed. Kawawa naman yung mga depressed people, no? Depressed na nga, rejected pa, no? Lalo na sila
Correct.
na depressed. Oo.
Yeah. Yeah. Grabe, no? Sobrang,
Ah,
sobrang lalim ng mga pag-uusap natin. So,
oo nga.
I'll give you time to, muna, to pause and
Sige, oo.
uminom ng konti, take a break, relax. And while you do that, for our audience, it's giveaway time. Okay, so 3 viewers will get a free copy of this season of grief. Just answer this question. So the question is, in what ways can you show your love and care to those who are grieving or have experienced loss during this pandemic? Yeah, so you can see the question on your screen. So in what ways can you show your love and care to those who are grieving or have experienced loss during this pandemic? So share your answer with us. Post your answer in the comment section, and then the 3 viewers that will be selected will be notified by OMF Lit via FB Messenger. Okay. All right. So tuloy na po tayo. Pasensya na kina Pastor Rico, kay Tess and Felice kasi a few seconds yung break nila. Yan. So tuloy na po tayo sa ating pag-uusap, and we have another video question from Midge Elkana.
Bilang mga tao na hindi naman na-inform sa mga twists and turns sa mga buhay natin, we tend to regret on lost opportunities and chances with our loved ones when they passed away. Paano kung I'm overcome with such regret? Ano pong may papayo nyo? Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Sige, let's start with Tess. Tess, what do we do when we're overcome with regret? Ano ba sa Tagalog yung regret? Paghihinayang, no? Pagsisisi, ganun ba yun? So what do I do when I'm overcome with regret? Medyo mahirap yung question.
Nangihinayang. Siguro, for me yung, kasi kung may regret kasi, may regret ka sa pagkamatay ng isang mahal sa buhay, mahirap nga talagang dalhin yun. Isa yun sa mas nakakabigat dalhin kung may panghihinayang. Siguro learn to yung magpatawad, I guess. Kung meron mang di pagkakaintindihan, hanggang namatay na lang yung person na yon. Siguro letting forgiveness, releasing the forgiveness for that person, and most of all yung i-forgive mo yung sarili mo. Yun po ang parang nakikita kong releasing forgiveness for yourself and for the person itself sa nawala.
Yeah.
That's all.
Yeah, that's very helpful. Importance ng forgiveness, no? Yeah.
Papa.
Thank you, Tess.
Thank you.
Yeah. Si Felice siguro kasi di ba na-share mo na parang you were thinking na dapat dinala mo pa si Katie sa US, yung mga ganon, no? So, yun. So what can you advise people who are grieving na laging sana, no? What sana dapat ginawa ko, yung mga ganon?
Ang dami kong ganyan. Almost lahat na ata, pag nag-uusap kami ng husband ko nun, puro regret. I had a lot of regrets na sana mas nag-ingat ako, baka nung nagbubuntis ako, sana ganito, sana ganyan. And then, share ko lang to, there was one night na I had a dream. And then in that dream, I saw Katie for the very first time. Hindi ako nagkaka-dream about her. I saw Katie in my room. Tapos the moment na I hugged her, I felt everything na I missed out was filled. Tapos, and then, parang napuno, na-feel siya na lahat ng pagkukulang or regret ko, na-experience ko yung 18th birthday or parang ganyan, yung mga regret ko or going out, playing, or pag matanda na siya with kids or ganyan. Basta yung ganang feeling. And then, nung na-let go ko siya, nagkaroon ako ng peace. And then, when I woke up, I had the realization na it may not be exactly like that, but I feel and I believe, I want to believe na when I get to heaven, God will be so gracious enough na He will fill whatever was missed out. Na, di ba, He promised it na there will be nothing there will be no lacking in heaven. Walang pagkukulang. So, kung walang pagkukulang, then lahat ng feeling kong na pagkukulang dito sa earth, I want to put my faith na when I get to heaven, may experience ko siya, lahat, buong-buo. So, that's something na after that, it's something na I look forward to already. So, nawala yung regret ko, and, yan, sorry, ng daughter ko, nandito na, nawala yung regret ko, and, ayun, parang nag-look forward ako na when I get to heaven, like right now, she's not with me on my birthday, may konting tears, but I look forward, Lord, when I get to heaven, you will be the one to fill and complete me. So,
Yeah. That's beautiful, no? Beautiful to look forward to, no? Yeah. Yung next question, I'm sure si Pastor Rico can answer this kasi based on his experience then with depression, no? Sabi nitong nagtatanong, sabi, pakiramdam ko, masisira na ang ulo ko sa lungkot. Ano ang dapat kong gawin? Yan.
Grabe, no? Bago ko sagutin yan, Ina, meron lang ako idadagdag dun sa... Ang ganda rin kasi nung question yung una, no? Yung regrets, no? Tungkol sa regret. Three things lang. Sometimes yung regret, kakambal yan ng ibang mga emotional issues natin. Diba? Pag depressed ka or may major depression, doon pa pumapasok lahat ng mga negative. Laalala ko noon nung may major depression ako, hindi naman namatay yung dalawang anak ko, pero parang bumalik yung sana may expend ako na mas maraming time sa kanila, ganyan. Ang daming mga negative na So, tandaan din natin yun, no? Pangalawa, yung nagiging blessing sa akin yung serenity prayer. Napaka-wise nun yung grant me the serenity or the peace to accept the things I cannot change. No? Courage to change the things that I can, and the wisdom to know the difference between the two. No? Alin ba yung kaya kong baguhin, alin yung hindi na. No? Katulad yung namatay na, hindi mo na pwedeng ibalik So, it's about control din and letting go. And then, thirdly, yung binanggit kanina ni Ate Tesh, yung forgiveness. Pero yung forgiveness, hindi lang forgiving others, kundi forgiving yourself din. No? Accepting it. No? Na may limitation tayo And ang ganda ng verse na laging ginagamit ni Lord sa akin yung sa Psalm 130. Sabi niya doon, if you, O Lord, kept a record of wrongs, who would stand? But with you, there is forgiveness. Napaka-gentle nun Kasi yung psalm na yon, nagsimula siya out of the depths I cry to you. No? Pag nandun ka kasi sa depths at naranasan mo yung lahat ng kadiliman, grieving, one of the blessings there is nagiging mas compassionate ka. Kasi naiintindihan mo Mas lumalaki yung heart mo towards others and hopefully towards yourself na rin, no? Yung kaya mo siyang tanggapin, no? Importante yun, yung self-talk. Actually, bago na uso yan ng mga psychologists ngayon. Marami na yan sa Bible. Katulad nun, yung if you, O Lord, no? May sinasabi niya yun sa Lord, pero sinasabi niya rin sarili niya yan Why so downcast, O my soul? Kinakausap nila no? Kaya, pag ganon, pag may mga regrets, kausapin mo sarili mo, no? And then, pero ipasok mo yung katulad ng mga ganong truths no? That God is forgiving, no? Tayo, hindi natin kayang patawarin sarili natin, pero Lord, ikaw kaya mo ganon. Kaya pag sobra na ilungkot mo din yung sa question na to related na parang sasabog na, ganon din ang gawin mo yung uh, pour out pour out yourself to God. Marami yan sa Psalms katulad nung sa Psalm 102. I'm like a bird on a roof alone. Nakita ka na ba ng bird? 'Di ba usually yung mga bird magkakasama? Pero sabi niya, para akong nag-iisa sa taas ng tuktok ng bubong. Ang lungkot naman nun, grabe 'no, yung ewan ko parang masisirain ka na ba tapos yung Psalm 55 naman, "Oh, if I have the wings of the dove, I would fly away and be at loss." Parang gano'n, eh, at a loss 'no. Maraming times na sa atin ngayon nakakaloka dahil lockdown, 'di ba, parang kaya nakakatakot nga kasi ngayon parang mga tao sabik na sabik, 'di ba, bumabalik na. Ayan, yung COVID naman. Pero 'wag nating kalilimutan, eh, 'no, na dun sa loneliness natin, ah, may kasama tayo 'no. Yung darkest psalm halimbawa yung Psalm 88, "Darkness is my only companion." And what I like about these psalms is they are also a companion to us in
Mhm.
our times of loneliness. Mm.
Yeah. Thank you,
Mm.
Pastor Rico. Nagte-take notes ako
Anytime.
kasi ang dami mong psalm na mine-mention eh.
Oo
Psalm
nga, yan.
130, Psalm 50, Psalm 104, Psalm
Oo.
88, Psalm 42. So friends, explore nyo talaga ang Psalms. No? Sabi nga ni
Yeah.
Pastor Rico, the Psalms can be a companion no in our time of grief no. Yeah.
Mm.
Bago tayo pumunta dun sa video question, gusto ko lang i-encourage yung viewers natin. If you have questions, no, we have a segment after this where you can ask your questions sa ating guests, no. So write your questions sa comment section natin. So for our video question, we have a question from Angel Rivera.
Sometimes I don't feel as sad as I did in the past when my loved one passed away. Then I'll feel guilty when I do. Kasi parang nakalimutan ko na siya. Mali po ba yung nararamdaman kong guilt?
Ang ganda ng tanong na yun, ano?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So sinong nakaramdam na ng gano'n na gustong mag-share? Who wants to answer first? Sabi niya, is it wrong na parang nakalimutan ko na siya, yung mahal sa buhay na who passed away? Hirap, si Pastor Rico na lang muna pasagutin natin.
Gano'n. Hindi. Actually, yun na yung sagot natin, 'di ba, yung may time na silence lang. Yung kasi ang hirap nga 'no, pero ang hirap 'no, yung may mga tao ang problema nila, sobra yung grief nila 'no. Meron naman tao, problema rin pala pagka, "Ba't wala akong grief?" Ano,
Mhm.
kasi
Mm.
again yung, nagi-guilty ka 'di ba, kasi bakit gano'n? Ah, anong problema? Bakit dapat ba akong malungkot? Gano'n ano. So, 'pag dumarating siguro yung gano'n, ah, maganda rin na i-search din natin yung heart natin. Katulad ng binanggit ko kanina, talk to your soul. When was the last time you talked to your soul? And then be gentle to her or to him,
Mhm.
no? Kasi 'wag mo namang dagukan sarili mo na dapat umiiyak ka. Siguro bad ka, no? Kasi
Mhm.
tingnan mo sila, umiiyak sila. So ano din, bawat grieving, iba-iba. Walang pareho, 'di ba? Iba-ibang way natin, eh. Meron talagang araw-araw, 'di ba sa mga pelikula gano'n, walang isang sandali na hindi ako umiyak. Parang ano, hindi kita na nalimutan kita. Of course, exaggeration yung iba, no? Pero paano yun, hindi naman ako naiiyak? Eh, iba-iba, eh. Maaaring
Mhm.
o binibigyan ka na ni Lord ng healing, 'di ba?
Yeah.
Kaya nga kaya mo na, ayun.
Mhm.
Iba naman kasi yung numb ka na, no? Iba din yun.
Mhm.
So, but the important thing is, don't, punish yourself pagka wala ka namang ganong grieving. Tapos tanggapin mo rin na nagbabago rin ang panahon. Ikaw din nagbabago, ano. At okay lang, no? Yan.
Mm.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
At saka Pastor Rico, parang ano, no, yung like in that question, parang may ano na, sometimes we are afraid to be wrong. Parang
Oo
gano'n.
nga, parang oo nga.
Diba?
At saka parang yung gusto mong kontrolin lahat, pati responses mo. Teka, tama ba to? Tama ba yun? No? So,
Yeah.
yan. Let it go. Sabi ka, parang kanta yun, ah.
Magandang assurance that ano that God knows us more than we know ourselves, no? And He
Exactly.
loves us and accepts us as we are. Merong question dito from a viewer, and I'd like to ask this kay Tess and kay Felice, no? Sabi niya, how did you spend the first Christmas without your loved one? So in my case, my mother. So this is from Anika Aquino. Wow, mahirap talaga yon, no? Yung first Christmas. Si Tess, first Christmas without your kuya last year?
Oo nga.
Actually, yung kuya ko, February pa lang namatay. Just this February.
Okay.
Ako kasi yung yung ginagawa ko ngayon, iiyak ako. Tapos maya-maya, i-insert ko yung memories naming magkapatid. Kasi whenever I go home, susunduin niya ako sa terminal, mag-motorcycle kami. We go around sa bayan namin. Yun yung ginagawa ko. Ini-insert ko yung memories naming magkapatid. Yung mga good memories na, kasi when my dad died, my parents died, si kuya ang naging nanay at tatay namin. Literally kami. Lalo na ako kasi bunso. So yun ang ginagawa ko. I just revisit the memories. So ngayong Christmas, siguro gaya ng dating aalalahanin ko yung last Christmas namin. Though 2 Christmas na nga pala na hindi nakaka-uwi dahil nga sa pandemic. Yung kasi, everyday kasi nag-uusap kami. Ayun, bago yung matutulog, mag-uusap kami. So yun na lang ang ginagawa ko. Iiyak, pero sandali lang. Basta, mas nakaka-relieve sa akin yung alalahanin yung good memories na pinagsamahan namin. So yun siguro ang gagawin ko. And then, andyan naman, promise ko nga sa kanya na mawala man siya, andyan pa na yung family niya, dun ipo-focus ko na lang din dun sa asawa at 2 niyang anak, yung Christmas namin na this Christmas. So yun lang siguro po ang just revisit the good memories you have. Yun po. Thank you.
Thank you, Tess. Felice, your first Christmas without Katie.
Nako, first Christmas, birthday, my birthday, dad's birthday, siblings' birthday. Yun, ang hirap. Actually, mas mahirap for me yung days before the birthday than the actual birthday. Kasi sa actual birthday, parang, na gagawin ko? Pero yung days before it, yung parating, shucks, magbe-birthday na siya, magki-Christmas na, magbe-birthday na ako, magbe-birthday na niya, pero wala siya, kulang. So, yun yung masakit. But to answer your question about first Christmas, what we did nung Christmas is I had somebody gifted me with a drawing kasi sa sobrang hirap for me, wala siyang picture sa bahay. So wala kaming picture sa walls namin of her kasi it was so hard. That was ganun kahirap for me. So ang nalagay ko lang was a drawing of her picture. So nung first Christmas namin, nagpa-family picture kami and then I included that picture in the family picture. So,
Mm.
I didn't feel na super kulang. Parang it was still there. And then, ayun, parang that was comforting for me. Tapos, after nun, okay, ano na tayo, other family pictures, ganyan. And then, pag birthday naman niya, we still, nagpapagawa pa rin ako ng cake. And then, yun. And then, we will just talk about good memories of her. And then, talk about her to my kids. Doon ko
Mm.
pinapakilala yung sister nila na, I love your sister, but it doesn't mean that I am forever na I am present here with you as your mom. Parang gano'n na hindi naman ako napag-iwanan doon sa pain ko, but acknowledging na may pain ako, acknowledging that your sister was alive, and at the same time acknowledging na we can continue to live today even if wala na siya, and look forward
Mm.
na someday it will be complete again.
Mm.
Yung kids doon sa likod ko.
Okay, it's okay. It's okay. Yeah, yeah. Yes, thank you, Felice. Friends, if you want to know more about yung mga kinakwento ni Felice about Katie, grab a copy of her book, yung More Than Most. Yeah, the story
Mm.
of courageous Katie. Yeah. Here's another question from one of our viewers. Siguro, simulan ko kay Tess ulit, tapos kay Pastor Rico. Sabi niya, as Christians, we hope for eternity. Have you ever felt like you already want to cross the other side to be with the person you lost? How do we go about looking forward to being with the person or the people more than being with Jesus himself? Are those longings above Jesus a manifestation of idolatry?
Parang ang hirap nun.
Oo. Ang hirap.
Oo, idolatry eh. Yeah.
Hindi ko pa naman hindi pa naman umaabot sa isip ko na mag-cross na ako doon eh. Kasi since this is kasi yung death ng kuya ko talagang mas naramdaman ko kaysa sa pagkakaroon ko ng severe case ng COVID. Na overpower yung yung pag yung dalamhati talaga nakuha ng mas naramdaman ko nung nang matay nga si Manoy. But then hindi ko pa naman iniisip pumunta muna doon kasi God gave me the second chance to be with my family, with Sean and Jake. So, i-enjoy ko muna yung second chance that God gave me. At dahil nga siguro meron pang mission si Lord sa akin as a Christian, i-enjoy ko muna yon yung dito ko. Then, masarap makasama si Lord, syempre. At yun nga, pag sinasabi nga na there's no pain in heaven, mas masarap yung ramdam. Pero for now, I will enjoy what God entrusted me sa pagkakabuhay ko ulit after the COVID infection. So, yun lang po.
Yeah. Yeah. Kay Pastor Rico natin pasagot yung mahirap na tanong.
Opo.
Oo nga, idolatry. Kasi kasi merong verse sa Bible nga na, I mean, kung mahal mo yung tatay mo, no, nanay mo kaysa kay Jesus, no, hindi ka karapat-dapat maging alagad ko. Of course, yun yung may in-emphasize si Jesus doon, yung malalim na commitment. Ayaw niya yung mas mataas yung iba, kundi siya yung worship God and God alone. No? So whether idolatry na yung nararamdaman niya o hindi, only the person can know it, no, yung tao yun. Pero halimbawa, na wala siya ngayon, natural yun na kasi ay compared kay Lord na hindi mo naman nakasama physically. I mean, we know the Lord, no? Pero spiritually din yun eh. So, mahirap din i-compare, no? Tapos halimbawa, naging close kayo talaga nung tao na yun. So, natural lang yun na talaga mag-wish ka na sana makasama ko na siya ngayon. And if you feel that, wag ka rin guilty na, uy, bakit nararamdaman ko to sa malabuan ko pero dapat kay Jesus to eh. Hindi dapat gano'n. Wag mo nang ano yun. Hayaan mo lang yung pakiramdam. Kasi I don't think naman na by feeling that na sana kasama ko na siya ngayon, tapos hindi mo iniisip si Jesus, eh mas mahal mo na yung kuya mo o kapatid mo, nanay mo, tatay mo kaysa kay Jesus. Ah, hindi naman, I don't think gano'n. Ang maganda nga doon na the fact na gusto mo nang lumipat doon, makasama mo na siya, means that you are capable of being into a very intimate relationship with someone na lalim. And that presents a very good window or opportunity na pwede rin pala yun kay Lord. No? Pero yun yung, kasi only those people na who've been in a relationship like that, na grabe, sana kasama na ako sa'yo, no? Ibig sabihin, grabe yung lalim. No? At pwede mo ipag-pray yun, sana Lord, ganun din maging lalim ng relationship ko sa'yo. O di ba parang mas naging ano pa eh, nagkaroon pa tuloy ng mas maintindihan mo tuloy yung relationship mo kay God dahil sa personal experience mo sa loved one mo. Ngayon, hindi na siya idolatry. Kasi you are now praying na sana Lord tong pagtingin ko sa Kanya, ganun din sa'yo, umasigit pa. Ayan. Ayan.
Yeah.
Salamat. Salamat Lord for guiding me sa napakahirap na idolatrous question. O, di ba? Wala sa Bible yan eh. Hindi, biro.
Challenging talaga yung question na yun. Thank you for asking that question.
Oo.
Si
Salamat.
Felice, siguro, tatanong ko siguro kay Felice yung, was there a time that you felt like, sana I'll be with Katie na lang? And siguro, you can relate it now that you have children. How does it, what can you say about that?
Ako, oo. Kasi inisip ko parang toxic na ako as a person kasi sobrang toxic na ako as a person kasi umiiyak na lang ako parati, hindi ako lumalabas ng kwarto. So sabi ko, kapag umalis siguro, I just want to go to heaven na lang. Parang mamatay na lang ako, Lord, kunin mo na ako, gusto ko na magpahinga. Kaya na naman ng anak ko, kaya na naman ng asawa ko, they will survive. Mag-aasawa na lang ulit yung asawa ko, parang gano'n. Yung mga gano'n thoughts. And then, parang for me, what changed my perspective was, as I continue to ask those questions or feel those feelings, parang yun, what Pastor said, na you fill it with the truth. Tapos nisip ko, what is my daughter doing right now? Ano kayang ginagawa ni Katie at this moment? Ngayon, like where we're talking now. And then naisip ko, if she's praising Jesus, being with Jesus at this very moment, I want to do the same thing here. Parang visualize ko na para kaming magkaibang kwarto na may matinding may matinding dingding lang. So if she's praising Jesus, I want to do the same thing and praise Jesus here. And by doing that, we're together. Parang it brings us together. And like what Pastor said na to love Jesus more. So the more na I do that, nag-change din yung perspective ko na pupunta ngayon yung devotion ko for God rather than my devotion to what I could have or what could have been. Yun.
Yeah.
So, yes.
Yeah. Thank you so much. Thank you. Siguro ito yung last question natin, no? Ang question niya is, do you sometimes think of not taking part in things like this? To avoid, oo nga naman, no?
Oo nga.
To avoid going back to the sad memories repeatedly. Or does talking about it actually help? Oo nga.
Ayan. In-invite mo kasi kami.
Kayong tatlo.
In-invite mo kasi kami.
In-invite kasi, oo.
Sige.
Sabi nga, naisulat ko na nga sa libro, magsasalita pa ako. Sige, Pastor Rico.
Thank you sa question na to. Namatay yung father ko nung April 11, just this year. So, ngayon pa lang kami magkakaroon ng Christmas na wala siya, no? So, hindi ko pa alam yung pakiramdam nun, no? Pero the first time na in-invite ako na i-share ko yung experience ko, I said no. Kasi hindi ko pa kaya. I forgot when, no? Pero sa isang event na mag-share, so may mga times na gano'n na hindi mo pa kaya. Pero nung isang pagkakataon na webinar din yon na I was able na to share, nakatulong actually when I was able to narrate yung how it felt. Kasi mga gabing-gabi na yung namatay siya, mga 11 ng gabi. Tapos 1 a.m. yata o 2 a.m. Nagising na lang ako na sabing talagang matinding iyak. Grabe, no? Yung nagising nga pati wife ko, ano nangyayari sa'yo? Talagang hindi ka halos. Doon ko nabuhos. And then that whole week from Monday to talagang araw-araw yun, pupunta lang ako sa office ko. When I look at the books, iyak na ako ng iyak. Kasi siya yung nagturo sa akin para yung mga memory verses sa Bible, no? And then idol ko yan ng tatay ko pagka nagsisermon siya noon, bata ako. Kahit takbo na ako ng takbo sa simbahan, napapatigil ako kasi ang ganda ng kwento niya. Tapos kung ano yung sermon niya noon sa simbahan nung Sunday, grade 5 ako noon, ipipreach ko yon, no, sa mga classmates ko sa Esteban Abada. So talagang grabe yung halos ganon. Tapos yung ganyan na nawala siya. And then he was the one who ordained me to be a pastor at a very young age. Pero yun ang ginamit. Suppose siya rin yung naglayhan sa akin yung very first ever sermon ko. Ang daming ganon. So, nung na-share ko yon, nakakatulong. And then, yung hindi mo naman kasi kailangan gumaling ka completely para magkapaglingkod ka sa iba. It is when you are broken pa nga. Katulad ngayon, like nakikita nyo, umiiyak yung mga kasama natin. Kahit ako nararamdaman ko. It is when you are broken and then you allow God, lumalaki rin yung heart mo. So nawawala rin yung focus mo lang sa loneliness mo, sa grief mo through your serving others. It's through our death, di ba? Nagkakaroon ng life yung ibang tao. Kaya katulad na sinabi kanina ni Phyllis, no? At one point nga sabi ko, Lord, ba't mo ba inalaw lahat ito, no? Yung pala, inaalaw pa rin, Lord, na hindi pa rin ako ganun gumagaling kasi dahil nandoon ka pa sa situation, mas malalim yung message mo sa iba, no? Yun, may mga times na ganun na speaker ako sa ibang church, gusto ko na i-cancel yun, no? In-invite ako mga gathering ng mga pastors. 2 months before, bumalik yung depression ko, ayoko na, ika-cancel ko na. Sa ibang bansa pa yun. Sabi na lang ng wife ko, pag-pray na lang natin at saka malay mo, mas lalo kang gamitin ng Panginoon dahil nandiyan ka. And true enough, no? Mas malalim yung sharing ko sa mga pastor na yun, no? Kasi I've admitted to them na actually habang kasalita ako sa inyo ngayon, hindi ako okay, no? Yeah.
Yeah. It's true. Yeah. Yeah. Nandito pa ba si Tess? Are you there? Nawala ang video ni Tess. Tess, tatanungin kita kasi
nalobat ako. Okay, yeah.
First time mo kasi 'di ba para kumbaga public speaking. First time mo sabi mo sa akin kanina. So, how are you feeling now? Nakatulong ba sa iyo?
Ay, opo. Thank you, Phyllis and Pastor Rico. Kasi, mas mas nag-learn ako how to handle my grief. Yeah, mas nakakatulong po yung yung ikinukwento, pinag-uusapan. It really helps. Actually, nagulat ako kasi may isa akong friend na nabalo siya. Tapos nagtanong siya sa akin, siya sa akin na schedule na kausapin ko siya kasi she's grieving. Sabi ko, paano ko siya sabi ko, Lord, paano ko siya i-comfort na kailangan ko rin ng comfort. Pero nung itrinay ko pinag-pray ko at trinay ko siyang kausapin, nagre-release pala yung yung pagdadalamhati niya, nakukuhan ko, nakaka-identify ako kasi I'm grieving din. So, mas nakakatulong pala na pag-usapan. It really helps a lot.
Yeah.
And once again, thank you, Pastor Rico and Tilis, kasi mas marami akong napulot at mas na-minister ako sa ating mga pag-uusap. Thank you po.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Si Felice siguro, the last who will share. Kasi I'm sure you have been invited so many times to tell about Katie's story, ganon.
It's still always raw and fresh every single time. Parang I never get used to it. I never get over it. Pero like for me, like what I mentioned earlier, this is our community diba, our title, it's not solving grief. It's not treating grief. It's living with grief. And this
Galing.
becomes our family. So, like for me, even if I will have to be in pain over again, if it allows another person to be affirmed that, hey, I'm not alone with my grief, that she is grieving, or even if years na grieving pa rin siya, pero the Lord gives her the grace to be sustained by the day and has a genuine joy and genuine laughter, then I think that would be the best way for me to siguro that would be my worship. So for me, even if it's hard, and sometimes I really get ganun din, physical manifestation. As in, minsan nai-ER talaga ako sa sobrang bigat kasi sa katawan. Pero the wisdom then that I learn from questions and the wisdom that I hear from those who are journeying, grabe, yung parang, Lord, grabe, if there's wisdom whenever we talk like this, how much more is your wisdom? Yung parang, Lord, iba yung pagmamahal mo, yung, 'di ba, kung ikaw nga humingi, 'di ba, when Jesus was at the garden, he asked na, Lord, if you can take this away, if there's another way, please take this cup away from me. But his father said no. And Jesus didn't just ask one time. He asked second time. And God still said no. And he didn't ask twice. He asked 3 times. Pero God said no. And because God said no to Jesus, we have this assurance na, diba, that's the gospel, na we can be with Jesus for forever because of his death. And parang yun God said no to me also when I wanted a miracle for Katie. And God also said no to the prayers of Pastor and Tess. But the gift is parang it goes beyond the no. And because it's parang there is pain, but the death doesn't sting anymore kasi we have overcome with him already. So parang yun, ako honestly, I really want to have more talks like this kasi people will be affirmed of what they're going through. And honestly, I really even want na the people will be talking and sharing also, kasi this is the part of the purging that telling our story is grabe, super healing kasi it empties ourselves. And when we hear the truth of the word of Christ, that's the one that fills us with so much light, 'di ba? Parang when there's brokenness, that's the only time talaga na doon mo makikita na ay maliwanag pala, pwede parang maging maliwanag. So I hope that we are not pros with grief. I am not a pro. And I know you don't want to also be a pro in grief, But
Mhm.
we are all grieving, and sana maging madaming pockets of like this that we all get to share our grief, and at the same time fill it with the truth of our whatever grief there is, fill it with God's truth. So sana nga to have more like this pa. So that's all.
Yes, yes. Noted
And
yan,
yes,
noted. We have
yes.
more of yeah. And on behalf of OMF Lit, I really want to thank you for all of you, si Tess, si Felice, si Pastor Rico, for
Thank you po
sharing your
din.
stories as you
Thank you.
responded to the questions. Ano? I'm sure ang daming na minister talaga. At this time siguro we'll have a time of prayer. Pastor Rico will pray for us, especially sa mga viewers natin who are going through grief at this time. So, Pastor Rico?
Yeah. Tayo po ay sumandali po na tumigil, yumuko at manalangin sa ating Panginoon. Samahan po ninyo ako. O aming Diyos na siyang pinagmumulan ng tunay na kaaliwan, comfort, siya naming kaagapay sa panahon na kami ay nalulumbay. Lumalapit po kami sa inyo. Salamat po dahil nararamdaman ninyo ang mga kalungkutan namin. May mga pagkakataon po na halos hindi na namin makayanan. Dalangin namin o Diyos na alalayan po ninyo ang bawat isa sa amin. Pagkalooban po ninyo kami ng biyaya upang harapin ang aming mga takot, yakapin ang aming mga tanong na walang sagot, at lakas ng loob, Panginoon, na mabuhay kasama nitong grief, Panginoon. Marami kaming hindi maunawaan, marami, Panginoon, kaming mga tanong, pero hayaan mo, Panginoon, na ang mga tanong na to ay sa biyaya mo, Panginoon, ay harapin namin kasama ng aming mga kapatid, because we are not meant to face our grief alone, but in community. And I pray for your church, O Lord, na gamitin mo po ang iyong church, mga kapatiran, upang i-comfort, tulungan, alalayan, bigyan ng space yung aming mga negativities, yung mga takot, kalungkutan, galit, regrets, Panginoon, paano namin harapin, and teach us to be gracious to our soul as well, Lord. Katulad ng sinabi mo, Panginoon, sa ng psalmist, Lord, if you, O Lord, kept a record of wrongs, who would stand? But with you, there is forgiveness. And I just pray for those who are struggling with regrets. Maraming mga what ifs. Samahan mo sila sa mga panahon ito. And grant them the grace and the touch of your Holy Spirit na yakapin ang kanilang sarili, patawarin ang iba, at ganun din ang kanilang mga sarili, Panginoon. Ang mga nalulungkot, aliwin niyo ang mga natatakot. At sa panahon namin na ito, Panginoon, at patuloy na tulungan mo po rin ang aming bayan sa gitna ng aming mga nararanasan ngayon. COVID, tapos ang daming mga kaguluhan. Kahabagan mo nawa kami, tulungan mo kami, bigyan mo kami ng kalakasan, Panginoon. At sa lahat po ng ito, tulungan mo kami na ialay lagi sa iyo ang aming buhay, kasama ng lahat, kagalakan, kapayapaan, pag-ibig, takot, galit, lahat, Panginoon. Lungkot, gamitin po ninyo kami, Panginoon, in all our brokenness, in serving others. For it is in serving others that we come to know you more, our Lord. Ito po aming panalangin, O Diyos, sa pangalan ng aming Panginoong Yesus. Amen. Amen.
Amen. Amen.
Amen.
Thank you, Pastor Rico, for leading us in that prayer. And I want to
Salamat
thank
po.
you again, Teresa Abiva, Feliz Lucas, and Dr. Rico Villanueva. Thank you
Salamat
for
po.
sharing with us your lives. Ang dami niyong na-share sa amin.
Thank you.
And we know na naka-minister talaga to sa maraming nakinig sa atin. And I'd also like to thank our viewers who shared their answers no dun sa question na in what ways can you show your love and care to those who are grieving or have experienced loss during this pandemic. So the three viewers who have been selected, wait for a surprise message. Ipa-private message po kayo ng OMF Literature. So, before we close, I'd like to remind everyone again, our featured book, This Season of Grief, is available at 275 pesos, but you can now buy it at 20% discount. So that's just 220. And this is available at all OMF Lit bookshops and shop.omflit.com, Shopee, and Lazada from today up to November 3. So nandyan po yung mga kwento ni Pastor Rico, ni Tess, ni Liz, among others na 29 contributors in the book. If you're looking for a gift to give to your loved ones and friends who are grieving, buy them a copy of This Season of Grief. So hurry and get your discounted copies now. This Season of Grief is also available in ebook format, so you can download it from Amazon and Google Play. You can still watch all our past free webinars on the OMF Lit Facebook page, YouTube channel, and at our website, omflit.com/webinars. And if you'd like to help OMF Lit give more free webinars like this one, you could make a donation to any of the payment channels indicated in the website. So if you've been ministered through this webinar, join us again for our third event of this Season of Grief online talk on the topic, Why the Church Needs to Lament. Ganda niyan, no? Why the Church Needs to Lament. This will be on November 26th at 4 p.m. We will feature another set of stories and contributors. All right, so final reminder on our ongoing promos. If you're still looking for books and Bibles to give as gifts or to add to your personal library or your church library, the OMF Lit online store payday sale is upon us. So from October 29, that's today, until 31, that's Sunday, enjoy the following treats only at the shop.omflit.com. So that's 15% off on all regular items, original, republished, and imported titles, and 20% off on Bibles and ministry titles. And this offer is part of our Thank You Pastor sale. Now, here's about another topic, fear. Fear can be harmful to children if not addressed in the right way. Some kids may even carry their fears while growing up. So to help parents and guardians, OMF Literature and HIAS is holding a free discussion on addressing our children's fears. This will be on November 5 at 4 p.m. at our OMF Lit and HIAS FB pages. Our speakers will be Dr. Joyce Piapgo, a mental health practitioner and speaker and radio broadcaster at 702 DZAS or Heartline, and Irene Joy Irong, a teacher and trainer by profession. So both are authors of HIAS children's books. Avail of a special sale of Be Brave and I Am Scared at 30% off. So that's 70 pesos only instead of the regular price of 100. This will be from October 29 today to November 15. Available at the OMF Lit bookshops, shop.omflit.com, Lazada, and Shopee flagship stores of OMF Lit. For more updates on our promos and upcoming events, please follow us on our Facebook page, Twitter, and Instagram at OMF Lit. So, once again, thank you, everyone. Thank you, friends, for spending your precious Friday afternoon with us. We hope you've been ministered by the stories of our guest speakers and by the program. And we hope that we've brought you inspiration, encouragement, and hope. This is Ina Reyes. Enjoy your weekend. God bless you and keep safe, everyone.